Hi everyone, how are you all doing? Today I want to talk about this book, Dragon Ball: A Visual History by Akira Toriyama. It was published in Japan in 2013 and in English in 2019, I believe. I won't be showing off everything in the book because that would take too long, but I want to show you some pictures from the book that I find interesting or that I just like in general. It's readily available on Amazon and other bookstores, so if you're interested in picking it up, I'll leave a link in the description. Okay, with that being said, let's take a look inside. The first thing you see when you open the book is a fold-out. On one side is a poster, and the other is a collection of thumbnails of all of the times when Dragon Ball was on the cover of Shonen Jump. At the bottom, there's a couple of special publications as well from 1987 and 1990. The 1987 one doesn't look like Toriyama drew it either. If it wasn't him, I wonder who the artist was. Opening the book properly, we get a message from Akira Toriyama himself, being incredibly modest about his skills as an artist. Honestly, it's still weird to me that he's no longer with us. The book starts back in 1984, where it all began. I like the inclusion of some colour manga pages. Bulma's hair colour strangely isn't consistent in the manga. It starts off blue, then becomes purple in later chapters. The anime keeps it consistent, but that causes more trouble later, because Trunks' hair is purple like his mother's in the manga, and then in Super it's blue. But that's for another day. This page has a colour spread featuring the original team's early designs. They've even got Yamcha in here, so that's fun. Once upon a time, Yamcha wasn't the butt of everyone's jokes. The next page I really like features cool mech designs. The first of many this book has. Toriyama loved drawing vehicles. Some realistic, some quite sci-fi. I think he once said that he would always try and find an excuse to draw mechanical objects and vehicles. I always thought that a lot of his mech designs would work quite well in the real world. Maybe one day. Here we've got some special and seasonal art. Kami-Sennin being Santa Claus is interesting. Probably a few dirty magazines in that sack of his. And Bulma is sporting one of her really famous outfits. This one is also featured in the first version of the anime's ending animation. It's one of my favourite looks for Bulma, although I actually don't own any figures of it. Something to add to my shopping list. More design updates to the characters, who are starting to age up now. Some updates are small, like Goku, who gets a little bigger, and others are more drastic, like Bulma. Every story arc she pretty much changes her hairstyle. The only one I don't really like is the afro she has between the Frieza and Android arcs. The next page features King Piccolo. I think this is really where the story started to shift in tone from the light-hearted martial arts to a more action-orientated style. The DNA of DBZ is starting to creep in, I think. The stakes are raised too, since this is the part of the story where we see several characters die, including Krillin, Roshi and Chaozu. Krillin being murdered by Tambourine is particularly shocking because it comes out of nowhere. I think this causes Goku to get truly angry for the first time too. I know he gets angry over Hachan, but losing his best friend really hits differently. It wouldn't be the last time Goku would lose his temper over Krillin being killed, right? Next, the book moves to 1989, the year DBZ started. Nice Goku and Vegeta face off. A rivalry for the ages begins. I bet people were really surprised when it was revealed that Goku was an alien. Interestingly though, Toei hinted at it a few years earlier, with Sergeant Metallic's sensors flagging Goku as an alien. Oolong also joked about him being an alien before that too. But I don't think Toriyama planned that far ahead. I love this piece so much. In case you didn't notice, I adapted it for my logo. Also, the Journey to the West outfit is in Xenoverse too, so your cat can wear it. Honestly, for years I thought it was something to do with Dragon Quest. Akira Toriyama really did love drawing vehicles, didn't he? F1 is pretty popular here in Japan even today. Goku and Piccolo driving cars always reminds me of my favourite filler episode. I know generally nobody likes filler, but Toei cooked with that one. It was really funny. I've never met anyone who doesn't enjoy watching Goku and Piccolo, who was catching strays and got dragged into it to try to get their driver's licenses. Why did they need the driver's licenses? Who cares, it was fun. I think this version of the Z Fighters is probably the one most people recognise. Even Trunks, who's only in the story for a pretty limited time, has become really memorable for people. Is he the character that has made the most impact on fans with the least amount of story time? What do you think? It's an unpopular take, I think, but I always really liked the creepy xenomorph-inspired third form of Frieza. Toriyama himself commented that it was a massive pain to draw over and over again, so I can totally understand why it's not in the manga for very long. This page features nothing but Super Saiyan Son Goku as he appeared during the battle with Frieza. I love how these are coloured with the light appearing to come down from his hair, really emphasising that the hair is actually glowing with a golden light. A true golden warrior. Into the Cell arc now. I love the first form of Cell. He's so weird looking, and some of the stuff he does to people is straight out of a horror movie. Some of the characters giving him the finger is pretty funny. Back in the 90s, I guess Japan didn't realise how rude this gesture is to Westerners. I'm pretty sure this chapter cover was censored in the English version too. Nowadays, Japan has wised up to the meaning of the middle finger, and it's reflected in their modern TV ratings. There's an infamous scene in Z where Vegeta flips off some Namekians, but when the scene was reanimated for Kai, Vegeta's gesture was removed, and he just has a closed fist. Cell doesn't care though, he's on his way to his perfect form. Next, I want to show you some character art for the Cell games. I think, for me, this is as good as Dragon Ball ever got in terms of an art style. This is definitely my favourite era with regards to character design. To wrap up the Cell arc, we've got a nice image of the father-son Kamehameha, and across from that is teenage Gohan 7 years after the Cell games, also using the Kamehameha. It's nice that he's finally started using it after so many years of using the Masenko. Gohan is lucky to have had two great masters to train him. I wonder if Goku taught him it when they trained together in the Room of Spirit and Time. Here we have the first of a few pieces of concept art for GT. It's interesting they chose to show something from the Kanzenban ending of the manga as well instead of the original. There isn't anything majorly different though, just some redrawn art and some extra dialogue from Vegeta. Whereas in the original, where Vegeta is added, we got a goodbye message from Toriyama. This is a very famous piece. Back in the day I used to see this one everywhere, either separated or complete. The complete artwork lines up key participants in some of the Buu arc's key battles. It's awesome. My favourite part of the Buu arc is Gohan vs Buu. After training with the Elder Kaioshin, he's such a badass. Too bad it doesn't really last once Goku and Vegeta are back in the picture. On this page there's some more GT concepts. These ideas I think inspired the animators who worked on the first ending of GT. Some of Toriyama's concept art is very similar to what they drew in the show. I also think this is where you can start to see Toriyama's art evolving into what a lot of us consider to be modern Dragon Ball. Goku's line work and colouring here is a little different to what came before it. The next part of the book covers some post-manga work, stuff like Nekomajin Z and Kanzenban cover art. I should briefly explain what Kanzenban means, right? In English it means perfect edition. They are bigger in size and printed on better quality paper than the original volumes, and they have all the colour pages, which is really nice. This is also where Toriyama shifted over to drawing digitally. Do you prefer his traditional art or his digital art? Let me know. I'm glad the book also includes Toriyama's Super Saiyan 4 sketch from the GT Dragon Box DVD set. I could never have imagined back then that we'd get a Toriyama design for Super Saiyan 4 in 2025 with Daima. This page is dedicated to work on Battle of Gods. Beerus and Whis are part of the gang now, but I remember there being a lot of mystery surrounding them before the film was released. It was a really exciting time, especially because the legend goes that Toriyama was, like most of us, so disappointed with Dragon Ball Evolution, he returned to working on the franchise because he was worried it had been tarnished by said movie. I confess, I went to the cinema to see it, naively hoping it would be good. It wasn't. The last thing I want to show you is an interview with Toriyama, which has been fully translated into English. Something we don't get too often. Obviously I won't read it out here, but Toriyama makes some comments about moving over to digital art, and that infamous Toriyama forgetfulness is on display, but not as much as people would have you believe. We'll leave it there as this video is getting quite long. There's a lot more in this book that I didn't show, but if you're interested in picking up a copy, like I said earlier, I'll leave a link to Amazon in the description below. I hope one day we get another book covering Super, featuring artwork from both Toriyama and Toyotaro. That would be awesome. If you like this style of video, let me know. I've got a few more Dragon Ball books I can dig out and talk about. Have a great day and take care.